I can't really remember when I last had any hope. And I certainly can't remember when anyone else did either. Because really, since women stopped being able to have babies, what's left to hope for?
Are you a kid guy? Are you a guy who realized the value of children, you know, in everybody's life before you looked at this material and got involved with it?
For sure. I was one of those people that wanted kids way before I had them. I always knew I wanted kids. And there's something about, you talk to any parent and, you know, your world and your life shifts when you have children. Your whole perspective changes. You stop being this sort of, you know, indulgent, sort of self-obsessed human being, and everything becomes about your kid. Things make sense when you have children.
It's really scary when you suddenly hear that silence of there not being any children in the world, and you don't hear kind of children's laughter and children screaming or running around. And it is such a bleak thing because children are so important, you know, obviously because that's where we all come from. And they bring so much hope and so much happiness, and without that, it's funny how the world suddenly turns to like 10 shades of grey and there's no colour in anything.
What are you doing? Don't do that.
Are you all right?
She wanted him to know. She has the right.
Of course she has.
For fuck's sake.
When you're ready, come inside. Everybody's all right.
And now Clive is an actor who can do so much with so little. Did that make things easier for you to just be able to say, I know Clive's gonna sell this little bit here?
It sounds easier, it sounds very easy, but I know that it was very hard work for Clive because he was very aware that part of the nature of his character was this immobility. But at the same time, he was very aware that audiences invest their emotions in his character. So how he could be immobile at the same time to be open enough for our emotions. And I think it has to do with his generosity. He performed this character with great sadness, but at the same time, with great compassion.
This is some dark material. How did you guys handle that on a day-to-day basis? How did you keep things light and keep from being depressed for?
We laughed a lot, believe it or not. I mean, it was a tough, grueling shoot, and the environments were pretty awful, but there was also a lot of humor. He's a very lively, spirited guy, Alfonso, and it's not, often though, when you see those films, you think, oh, it must have been so heavy, and it isn't the case. There was a lot of humor as well.
I was juggling and with oranges and stuff. No, it's just, you know what it is particularly with actors, it's about engaging them. And truly the matter is that these actors were protecting me. Maybe they were keeping the things, they think I was keeping the things light, but because they didn't realize that they were actually protecting me. All the time they were digging into the material and trying to get I consider my actors co-writers of this screenplay. I think that each one of them transformed completely their dialogues. And that's something I will be eternally grateful with them.
Would be too hard to bear.
Well, that was even worse, everybody crying. I mean, baby Diego, come on, the guy was a wanker.
Yeah, but he was the youngest wanker on earth. Pull my finger, quick, quick, quick.
Oh, Jasper, not... Oh, that's disgusting.
And let's talk about your director. This movie had to be pulled off, I'm sure, with some military precision, with some of the scope of it. What was it like to watch a guy like that at work with so many things on his plate to keep a hold of?
Bewildering, I have no idea how he does it, but he does, there's obviously some process that goes on in there, and I have no idea how it works, and it just kind of churns out perfection in the end. And I think he was completely in his element. I think that he had a lot on his plate, of course, but I think he loves that, and I think he's very good at just sort of having all these factors around and bringing it down into this kind of perfect end product.
It was, some of the technical stuff in this movie is so staggeringly good, and it was very bold. he's one of those directors that's got his eye on everything all the time. You know, from the pre-production meetings, I'm going to talk about various little props I've got. He's there. No, yes, got to be like this. Every detail he wants to know. And you look at his films and they have a very rich world. They're very full. They're not sort of simplistic. His canvases that he does his shots in are very full. It's crammed full of sort of human detail. To take on, you know, shots of that length in environments like that and go for them in one. I remember the most shocking was when he told me he wanted to do the whole birth scene in one shot. From the minute we enter the room to the baby coming out, and I was like, the guy's crazy. It's like, that is crazy. But he was bold, he was ambitious.